Hi everyone, this is Stan. I'm a YouTuber from Poland who used to live in Taiwan for 9 years and now making videos on Asian politics. In this video, let's talk about recent developments in the US-China relations. On February 2nd this year, Jiechi, director of the Foreign Affairs Commission of the Communist Party of China, had a video conference with National Committee on US-China Relations, which is a non-profit organization in the United States. The conference call was focused on the current state of the US-China relationships, and it gained attention from all around the world. Jiechi is the highest-ranking Chinese official to speak on US-China relations since President Joe Biden took office. During this call, Jiechi emphasized again how strong the CCP's position was, said that Hong Kong, Tibet, Xinjiang and Taiwan are the core interests of China. And of course, failure to comply with China's requirements will damage the fragile hearts of 1.4 billion Chinese people, and so on and so forth. Basically, what the CCP wanted to express is that they're leading the narrative. Therefore, they can give the newly elected US administration orders to follow, giving the US only one option. There will be cooperation, only on the CCP's terms. The so-called repairing of the US-China relationships means that the CCP doesn't admit its past atrocities, but instead asks the US government to continue appeasing and tolerating the CCP's behavior for the benefit of China's win-win situation. Yeah, the US is not a part of this win-win, it's rather CCP's double win. Many political analysts and commentators believe that this is how the CCP is testing Biden's administration, but I think it looks more like harassing the US directly. Even though the Democratic Party dropped One China language from their platform adopted in August 2020. But still, members of Biden's administration have been mentioning One China principle multiple times. Even if this One China principle is based on the 3 communiques, Reagan's 6 assurances and Taiwan's Relations Act, it's pretty different from what China means by its One China principle. It's just juggling with terms because 99% of the people on this planet don't know what does One China principle mean. And some even think that this is the bottom line or the consensus reached between the United States and the CCP. However, the understanding of the principle between the two sides is in fact very different. We can also say that how Biden is constantly highlighting this One China principle might also be a signal to the CCP. It's as if giving the CCP a hint. They can still aim for unification, but just at a slower pace. And it shouldn't be forceful, no weapons should be drawn. As soon as it is peaceful, the world won't have anything against it. Otherwise, it would be hard for the Democrats to stay in power. It would also make it very difficult for the US government to stay out of the situation. Difficult to do things and even more difficult to explain it to allies. The CCP's official visit to the United States was rejected, and the leaders of the two countries have not spoken yet. This might be a little bit similar to the third Taiwan Strait crisis, when the missiles launched were actually non-explosive sound bombs meant to scare Taiwan. Now the US administration is only acting as if it is standing up to the CCP, and therefore not willing to meet or talk with the CCP's officials. However, mentioning the One China principle in diplomatic rhetoric makes us see what the true intentions of the new government might be. The Biden administration is not going to see Jiechi for the time being itself might be a reaction to the current international public opinion. Seemingly tough, but in reality just avoiding the problem. Only the US officials agreed to stand up against the CCP, saying that the One China principle is based on the 3 communiques, and that China should also respect Taiwan and allow for the possibility to recognize Taiwanese independence. Therefore, there is One China and One Taiwan. Only if this happens, the US can continue to maintain strategic advantage in vagueness of the situation. Otherwise, we're just deceiving ourselves. Therefore, today's prominent anti-communist thought leaders have constantly been questioning if the new US government's policy towards China is just a show. Today, in 2021, the political background for the so-called One China principle doesn't exist anymore. Taiwan doesn't want to compete with the CCP for who is the real China. There is only one urgent need, which is for Taiwan to be recognized by the world as a fully independent country. It's that simple, and this can be verified in the announcement of the former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Taiwan has not been a part of China. And the One China principle is obviously not enough to satisfy the CCP's ambitions. After all, it's not longer the CCP that just ended the Cultural Revolution and was on the verge of collapse. It now wants the US government to express its position clearly, and to follow the CCP's rules of the game, and to force the US government to say that it supports the CCP's attempts to unify Taiwan. Of course, they understand that the One China principle is perfunctory. It was agreed upon only for the US to start doing business with China. But this vague policy is is currently being used by the CCP to interfere with the US interests. On the other hand, the CCP itself also has urgent needs. It is unable to plan its steps patiently, wait quietly, as in the past 40 years. The power struggle within the CCP, questionable legitimacy of Xi Jinping's indefinite rule, and the archaic system causing overall economic pressure, social problems, human rights issues, legitimacy of the regime, etc. And all of these problems can be solved as if by waving a magic wand once Taiwan is taken. And the CCP keep on ruling China for another 100 years or even more. From the international perspective, from the point of view of allies, considering the interests of the United States, the benefits of an independent Taiwan for the international community cannot be underestimated. Compare it with what could happen if the CCP invaded this country. What's also very important, the future of Taiwan should be determined by the Taiwanese citizens only, not by the CCP or the United States, not even by the United Nations. And the CCP knows it. They're afraid that Taiwan's position in the world will improve, and if Taiwan becomes an even more important player on the world stage, the CCP will lose all its chances to invade it. And the other crisis that the CCP will certainly face is the legitimacy crisis. But it seems like the new US government still didn't wake up from their 40-year-old dream. David A. Welch, University Research Chair and Professor of Political Science at the University of Waterloo, published an article at Canada's The Globe and Mail. The key point of this article was that democratic countries should unite and protect Taiwan, and the best way to do so is the whole diplomatic recognition, so that Beijing could have no illusions about the cost of adventurism. And the longer the world recognizes Taiwan as an independent country, the better China will understand how high would be the price they have to pay to get it. And higher is the possibility that young Chinese people will start doubting Beijing's authority. Therefore, I have to highlight once again, if we keep on supporting the so-called One China principle even in 2021, if we keep on using this archaic term, means that we're lying to the people. And for those who have been following Asian politics for a while, the use of One China principle only shows how the new US government is unfamiliar, ignorant, and incompetent on Taiwan's trade issues. One can't help but suspect that they are not keeping up with the issue, nor are they interested in studying it deeper. They're just half-hearted about Taiwan. This is also one of the reasons why Xi Jinping's administration think that West is in decline, because some of the American political elites seem to only care about ideological disputes, winning the elections, and playing games with big financial corporations. At the same time, it seems like they've lost the ability to face core issues and take responsibility. And the CCP sees it very clearly. Many members of Biden's administration are young, taking in consideration the positions they occupy. I hope that after they start to take seriously the issues of the US-China relations or Taiwan relations, they would wake up. After all, this is a test whether the United States can continue to prosper, and if the US's allies can keep the same level of trust in their key partner. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please press like, subscribe, and share. This is Stan, and I see you in the next one.